Hi, I'm Josiah.
And I'm Colin.
And this is Worth Watching.
Wow, props to the gentleman who had to work with Travers. Those guys ought to be in heaven.
Because patience is a virtue, and they had a lot of it.
A lot of it.
All right, hello and welcome to this episode of Worth Watching. Today we're going to be reviewing a movie that came out several weeks ago, but we never got a chance to review, Saving Mr. Banks, starring Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson.
All right, so the plot of this movie is you have Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney, and you have Emma Thompson playing Travers. And it just shows the story of how she created Mary Poppins, and Walt Disney for 20 years was actually trying to get her to sign over the rights so they could make this movie. And she was just an absolute stubborn pain through the whole process.
Well, because the characters were really, really dear to her, and she had seen other Walt Disney movies and knew that this was a more serious source material and was afraid of how he was going to handle it.
Sure. She eventually commits to the idea of, okay, I'll go to Los Angeles. We'll talk about this movie, but I'm not signing over the rights because, again, Mary Poppins was her family. So it really was just a very unique story of how Mary Poppins came about.
Yeah, it was a really great sort of peek behind the curtain look at, the making of Mary Poppins.
It is.
And this movie excels in a lot of areas. One of those areas is definitely the acting of the movie.
Oh, phenomenal acting.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's character role in this was perfect. Tom Hanks was
great as Walt Disney. I mean, I've seen old interviews with Walt Disney and things like that, and he just embodied the role perfectly.
He really did. So I enjoyed his performance and Emma Thompson's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Yeah, I know. Emma Thompson is a phenomenal actress.
She
plays such varying roles in everything she's in, and she completely knocked the role out of the park. She was great.
And then I also liked Colin Farrell's small performances that he had throughout the movie as P.L. Travers' father.
Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite characters in the movie is the driver hired to drive P.L. Travers back and forth from Walt Disney Studios, played by Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti in this movie is great. His character is just so lovable. He's such a genuine person. He's just so much fun to watch, and just he seems like a really nice guy.
Like he was really very little of him, but you felt he was really involved in the movie. A big part of the movie.
Definitely. Another thing I absolutely loved about this movie was just the overall feel of this movie. I mean, I've been to Disneyland and Disney World a lot, and watching this movie made me feel like I was there. You have just this magical, really innocent genuineness to this film that you don't get in movies a lot these days, where it's really just a really wondrous, magical
I've never been there,
film.
but I'd like to go now.
Yeah, and like you said, you get that great feeling of actually being there while they were making this movie, and you feel like you're right there.
Well, you did. Through this whole for me, through this whole movie, I kind of felt like I was actually a part of the making of Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Through the whole course of the movie, you got to be a part of everybody's ideas, flying back and forth at each other, the constant bickering and putting up with P.L. Travers' just stubbornness.
And at the same time, it's very slightly idealized, where there are things in this movie that feel like a slightly Disney-fied version of what actually happened. And I actually really liked that because it made this feel like a classic Disney movie and had that element of sort of perfection and magicalness to it that I really appreciate.
And I must say, I never looked at Mary Poppins in this sort of way before. I never actually looked at the story of Mary Poppins as Mary Poppins saving Mr. Banks.
Right, exactly.
I didn't look at it that way. Not only did I love the movie beforehand, but now that actually you got to see the whole
another
reasoning
dimension
on why
into
this movie was actually made and the story behind it. And PL, her story actually I thought was really unique and it really was neat.
Right.
So I even like the movie better now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that this movie does really well is they have a lot of flashbacks intercut back to P.L. Travers' childhood. Yeah. And it's done really well where she'll see something and it makes her remember something that goes back. Just these little 30-second flashbacks. And there are probably 20 of them throughout the movie. Yeah. And they're spliced in perfectly and work really well. I
was getting concerned with them at the very beginning with all those flashbacks just because I didn't know what they were, where they were going with it.
Right.
But then once you actually find out where they're going with it, they actually make sense and really add a whole new level of just
intricacy to the
film. To the movie, yes.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time finding any complaints. We all
That's true.
we all know pacing is one of my big ones. The pacing was perfect. I did not have an issue.
Flawless throughout the whole movie.
It
Never
really
felt
was.
slow, and even
No.
when stuff was going slowly, you were interested in what was
Sure.
going on, so you didn't want it to
Yeah,
speed up.
yeah.
So on a whole, what would you rate this movie, A through F?
I'm gonna give it a big A. I mean, very high A. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I would definitely give it an A as well. It harkens back to classic Disney movies while also being a peek behind the curtain of a
Yes.
very famous Disney movie.
Yes.
So you've got just a great multi-layered film and so much fun to watch, and a really emotional movie too. I mean, it definitely has emotional lows in the film, and they're
Oh, it
done
does.
extremely well.
It does. Everything was done absolutely perfect. All right. Thanks for watching another episode of Worth Watching. Leave a like if you like the video. Comment on below on your thoughts of the movie and subscribe.
And just so you know, we have a video put together of our top 5 favorite movies of 2013, which you can check out right here. And we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.